Okay, I've gone ahead and applied our texture to a simple um, elongated box, similar to the wall as we had before, but a bit longer. And I've gone ahead and loaded in the textures already completely with the bump map, diffusion map, and sized them so it matches up with our wall. And we can see that it blends very nicely across to the different areas. And we can see that each window looks really good. We do notice some tiling in there, of course, but we did fix the majority of it, being that we would, before, with the original image, we would have these large pieces of sort of missing pillar, and these would not exactly look right. And we have our squares in between that look good, and everything seems to look alright. What we could also do is fix, maybe add this seam across right here, straighten this one out if we wanted to, just to maybe reduce the tiling a little bit, really depending on the kind of look that you're going for. But let's go ahead and render this and take a look at the differences with the bump map and all the different maps, just so we can see the overall look. And we can actually zoom in pretty far here and still have a very good looking render. So I'm going to hit render frame, and this is with all maps applied. We have our color map, bump map, and diffuse map all on this box here. So we can see it looks pretty nice, but let's start removing the textures so we can actually see the effect that it's creating individually. First thing I'm going to do is remove the bump map, and now let's go ahead and render that and see how it looks without the bump map. Even in the preview we can already tell that it's very smoothed out and it looks very two-dimensional. And we'll just wait a second for this to finish up. Continue. And now this is without the bump map. Looks a little washed out, doesn't look very crisp, and it doesn't have very much depth to it. But if we look at it with the bump map, now this is a very strong bump map. We could always turn that down if we needed to, but we can see that there is a very large difference in the texture, and especially around the window area and the frame right here. We can see that it's very much changed. And if we look in these little small details right here, that might be need to be reduced a little, but overall it looks pretty good. And as we change the lighting too, we will also see some different changes throughout this bump map. I also have the diffusion map on here, just a subtle amount, down to 20%, which just is going to add nice little dark areas in our texture. Not exactly necessary always, but it does add that little bit to it. And I won't really worry about showing that. There's a few other things I want to mention too as far as editing this texture. What we could do is go back into Photoshop if we wanted to and create a clip map. If we wanted some extra depth for this window, and let's say we actually wanted to be able to have space behind it or objects or people behind this frame, what we could do is create a clip map in Photoshop where we just draw out these in-between areas. Even a transparency map would work probably better than a clip map, because then it wouldn't remove everything, but we'd have that nice transparency. And with the bump map, it would have the right amount of depth, but we could just have black overall, and then just have white drawn into these areas. Do it very precisely so it's nice, and really pay attention to the trim. But then if we add that, we could have objects go behind the windows and make it a little bit more flexible. So there's much more we can do with it if we wanted to add that extra little map to it. But this is good the way it is as far as I'm concerned. All I'd really be using it for. But if I did want to have maybe people behind it, or if you want to have anything like that, all you gotta do is create that clip map. It's very simple to create, just a black, entirely black image, and then just white where you want to cut out the certain parts of the image. And then you could just apply that the transparency of your 3D program, or clip that out if need be. So this texture is finished, and we can see it, and it looks pretty neat. We can use it for lots of different things. Of course, like I said, this is a horizontally seamless texture, and we do not have it going vertically. If we did, it wouldn't look quite right, because although this is pretty decrepit, we can still tell that actually these original bottom parts of the columns are actually the same as the tops. And if we really wanted to, we could take these parts of the image and sort of paste them down here if we wanted to make it look a little newer. And then if we wanted to go ahead and just make that vertically seamless the same way we did before, you should know enough now just use the clone stamp tool, go in there, fix what needs to be fixed, and then you could do that vertically if you wanted to have a whole wall or building that all look the same along one side. And then of course change the bottoms, add different things. You can mix it with a brick texture, something of the same color. Lots of different things you can do with it. It's very neat.